Well, we are back, and we have all 20 of our players of the season joining us back here on the island, live in Samoa, for the LEGO Survivor Heroes vs. Villains reunion. And they are as follow. In order from last place to first, we have Rose, Ashley, Mark, Molly, Liz, Leon, Colby, Max, Jonathan, Ace, Spencer, Bernadette, Isabella, Elle, Brad, Hunter, Harper, Lauren, Buck, and Savannah. So, we're going to be here. We're going to be discussing things with the finalists, with Savannah, our winner, and then we're going to be asking some questions. And it's not going to be just to the 20 of you. But we are also being joined by our special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the executive producer as well as the creator of this LEGO Survivor series, the one, the only, LEGO Game Show Studios himself. So LEGO Game Show Studios, 15 seasons are done, so how is that? Well, it's incredible. You know, all this started way back in February of 2021, and here we are in August of 2024. And it's crazy how far we've gotten. It really is. All right, we'll come back to you once we're getting to your questions. But now let's talk to the finalists, as well as a bunch of the cast as well. So, of course, the Season 15 winner, Savannah. How does it feel finally being able to win after last time you came up short? Well, Jeff, it's an amazing feeling. You know, it's something that I wanted to come back and do, and I was able to do that, and I'm very grateful for that. All right, we have a few more questions for you, but we'll get to that later. So, Buck, Lauren, how does it feel just coming up short with your second chance? Well, Lauren with your second chance and Buck with your third. You know, Jeff, it kind of sucks, but you know what? I guess this is probably the best I'm probably going to get, most likely. And, you know, I should be grateful for that because, you know, not everyone makes it to the final three. And for being a two-time, now three-time player, it's great. Yeah, pretty much I gotta say the same thing like Buck. Like, it sucks losing. But hey, you know, it's way better than last time I played. And, you know, I'll forever be grateful that I had this second opportunity to play. All right, nice. Now, we'll have some questions for... Let's go with some of the earlier boots. Let's start off with Mark. You know, Yucatan, you came in 5th place, only to get 18th here. What do you think happened? Well, Jeff, looking back at it, you know, I know exactly what went wrong. Maybe I was in the heat of the moment of the game. But now looking back, you know, at the way I played, I just kind of facepalm at, like, how can I be this ridiculous? You know, I was way better in Yucatan, and I didn't think anything like this. Like, I don't know what the heck happened. Maybe I just showed up drunk. And let's also talk to Rose. I mean, you were eliminated first this season after making it to the finale of Season 13. Like, what is going through your mind? Well, Jeff, it obviously sucks, but as Kenny said in the All-Stars reunion, you know, someone has to be the first one to go, and I just so happened to be the one to be gone first. I mean, I don't know how I did so bad compared to when I played in Rio Islands and did so good, but I think it was obvious that I was probably going to be bound to go home first. I had a bad start. I didn't do well in the challenge, and I didn't have enough connections to stay alive. Well, before we move on to the last main part of this reunion, we have, one more question to ask, and that is to the following: Bernadette, Isabella, Hunter, and Buck. You guys already played twice. How does it feel being given a third opportunity to play? Jeff, when I was given the opportunity to play this season, I took it. I immediately wanted to take it and redeem myself after a horrible performance that was LEGO Survivor All-Stars. Yeah, same here. While I didn't do bad in All-Stars, I also really wanted to win again, but hey, what can you do about it? Yeah, I'm actually really surprised that I was given a second opportunity to replay the game again. You know, after winning All-Stars, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, same here with me. You know, after, being medically evacuated in Guam and coming up short in Bora Bora, I was absolutely grateful to be given a second chance, as I already said. And on top of that, if I didn't get the second chance, I wouldn't have gotten as far as I did. Alright, with that said, it's now time to get into the next section of the video. And that is the comments on the recent community posts. We have put up 2 posts, and for the past few days, the viewers were to vote for who should be the fan favorite of this season. So, let's check how things are as of this recording. Well, by the looks of it, we have a few votes and quite a bit of questions. So, without further ado, let's start off with the fan favorite. Actually, before you reveal who fan favorite for this season is, I actually am going to do something right now. Before the fan favorite for this season is revealed, first off, I have to apologize for not revealing the fan favorites from season 8 to 14. Usually, I reveal them in like a little small post, but moving forward, I think what I'm going to do, or what Jeff is going to do, is just reveal the fan favorite at the end of next season's finale. You know, that little snippet bit at the very end where, he talks after the winner does their thing. And I do apologize for not revealing these winners, but yeah. So, I'm just going to list them off real quick. Now, keep in mind, there are actually a few picks here and there where nobody actually voted for someone in that season. So, because of that, if no one does vote for a fan favorite, then I'm just going to pick who the fan favorite is. And, it wouldn't be really fair for me to do that, but since nobody voted for that season, it's only fair that, someone has to win it. The fan favorites are as follows. For Yucatan, Jerry Seinfeld. For Tasmania, Elle White. For Tuvalu, Molly Wallace. Now, keep in mind, this was actually a pick by me instead of, a pick by a viewer because, well, nobody voted for anybody. For Season 11, it was a tie between Kate Fenton and Winston Pines. But we're giving the edge to Kate because her blindside and predicament was a little less predictable compared to Winston's, whose, was a little more obvious. But that's neither here nor there. For Redemption Island, again, nobody voted, so we're giving it to Colby Polinsky. For Season 13, Rio Islands, once again, nobody voted, so we're giving it to Peter Gilmore. And finally, for our most recent season, thankfully, I can say we got some people who voted, and ultimately, the winner of the fan favorite of last season was Riley Bennell. Now, with that said, Jeff, please take it away and reveal who the fan favorite of this season is. Alright, will do. Alright, before I reveal who the fan favorite of this season is, shout out to the following users. Justin's Odds, Game of Chairs, and of course, LEGO Survivor Studio. If it weren't for them, we probably wouldn't have gotten any votes. But, here we go. So 3 people voted, and it ultimately came down to Brad Marks and Hunter Gavins. So, one of you got 2 votes, and one of you only got 1. Ultimately, with the 2 votes casted from LEGO Survivor Studio and Game of Chairs, the winner of the fan favorite for Heroes vs. Villains is Hunter Gavins. Congratulations. So how does that feel, Hunter? I mean, you won the fan favorite. You are a former winner and one fan favorite. How incredible is that? It's insane, Jeff, you know. I mean, I was definitely contemplating if I was going to win this, especially since I am a former winner, but when I did get that win, I'm surprised. I'm surprised to have all these people have this much support from people. It feels great. Now, that said, I don't know if I'll play again because I'm a 3-time player, but I guess we'll see. I guess we will. All right, now on to the second part of this big, important part of the reunion. And that is talking to certain people and questions about them from the viewers. Surprisingly, it was actually from the same 3 users who I just mentioned. So, let's begin with LEGO Survivor Studios, first off. So first off, his first question goes to Ace. His question to Ace is, what did he change in his game to prepare for this season compared to Season 10? Well, with Season 10, you know, it was, you know, my first time out in the game. But I did have an idea of what to do for Season 10. I think the difference between what I was doing for Season 10 and this season is for this season, I was 100% prepared to be targeted, and I just had to do whatever I can to make sure my target would always, you know, be down low. Now, obviously, it didn't really go so well. It, you know, didn't work out for me, but hey, it was worth the shot, I guess. So I think the big change from last season to this season is me trying to incorporate more of limiting my threat level this season compared to Season 10. His next question goes to Savannah, and that's, when's the wedding? Wait, what? I'm just joking. He really asked, after John's elimination, what did you change in your game to help you adapt? Okay, I was like, geez, we're already gonna do a wedding when we just, you know, started dating on night 12? Okay, well, but anyways, when John left, it obviously broke me because, you know, he was easily my closest ally in the game. But when he left, I think what really made me adapt is that it just gave me that determination. It made me determined to try and, you know, play even harder than in Galapagos. You know, make a lot more strategic plays, make a lot of social plays, win my fair share of immunity challenges. So I feel like when John left, I feel like that made me stronger in a way. The last question he has actually goes to LEGO Game Show Studios, and that is, do you have a boot order prepared? If so, do you change it midway through the season? Or if you don't have a boot order prepared, then how do you determine who's going home each episode? Okay, to answer that, there is some points where I actually do have the boot order prepared. But that is in the sense of having, like, the ideal, like, person going out. But I actually do that before we go to Tribal. I just decide who goes out there and whatnot. Now, there's obviously some exceptions because, I mean, you shouldn't need a boot order to know that, you know, Chris Fields from Guam is going out in episode 4. Do I change it midway through? There are some, like, for example, for Yucatan, you know, Jessica was actually meant to, you know, be a finalist. But I changed it to, you know, give Liz a bit more of a storyline. How I decide every elimination, however, is just based on, you know, how I feel about them going out before Tribal begins. So, I guess if that really answers your question, it's kind of a half and half situation for me. Alright, we have a few questions given to us by the one and only Justin Zotz. So, without further ado, let's let's get to his questions. We'll start with John and Savannah. Was there any moment of which either you thought of putting a pause on your relationship while in the game? 100%, because, when you're in a relationship, that's a big deal, but obviously it would make you a target. So if we're looking at it strategic-wise, then yes, we were probably planning on putting a pause on our relationship until, after the game. And then we would, obviously, yeah. Yeah, same answer here. I mean, we didn't, and obviously that did result in John going, but, I mean, we still stand by what we did because, I at least was able to win the game, so I guess it was all worth it. We move on to Brad. How does it feel to be the only person this season to not be a jury member, become a finalist, or even win a season before coming into this? Well, it definitely is a weight on my shoulders because, it depends on how everyone views me. I mean, I could have easily been an early boot, just for simply getting the least furthest compared to literally everybody else. But I feel like that also gave me an advantage as, everyone would kind of forget about me in a way. And to make it to the final 6 as far as I did compared to season 1 is incredible. Moving on to Hunter. How did it feel being the only returning winner, being in the final 5? It was insane, to make it as far as I did with my winner status and a 2-time player status is incredible. Obviously, I went out at the final 5 here, but to be honest, I didn't expect to win either. His next question goes to the final 5, and that is, how did it feel being in the final 5? Well, for me, it's awesome because this is the furthest I've gotten in LEGO Survivor so far. Same with me. I mean, obviously, I made it to the final 5 up to this point already last season, heck, final 4. But, making it back to the final 5 for me, it's just amazing. Yeah, I made it to the final 5, and I was afraid of going out again. But, I did it, and I'm surprised I made it further than last time. I already said my piece, so I'm not going to repeat myself. His next question goes to Leon and Colby, and that is, how did it feel being voted out just before the merge this season? Well, to answer that simply, it sucked. Because I made, final 7 last time, and this time I didn't even make the merge. And that's pretty humiliating, but hey, can't really change that. Same here. I mean, I got voted off technically 3 times, up to this point, because I was voted out 9th, came back from Redemption Island, and then was voted off via fire. Well, not really voted out, but, lost the fire-making duel to Mike. And then came back to this season, and then got voted off 7th, just short of the merge. So obviously, it sucks, obviously, but at the same time, I also kind of figured I wasn't going to make it that far. His last question goes to LEGO Game Show Studios, and that is, will there be any more seasons after this one? I will confirm, yes, there is another season in the making. What's going to entail with it? Well, I'm not going to tell you. You're just going to have to stick around to the very end of the reunion to figure that out. But as for the future for other seasons, we'll find out. Alright, and last but not least, Game of Chairs. He's got 3 questions. His first one goes to Hunter. What was your number 1 move you made in the history of all your time playing Survivor, in your opinion? Yikes, that's tough. I think, however, I stand by that my biggest move across the 3 seasons I played was being able to convince Lucy to turn on her allies during the merge. She had a strong connection with Isabella in that season, and I was able to make her flip on her. And then once I won Final 4 individual immunity, I was able to get, Lucy to turn on Casey. And then finally, when I was vulnerable at the final 3 of that season, I was able to do some talking, and I got into Lucy's head, and I got her to change her vote to Michael. And I feel like with those 3 moves, they were all done via the same thing. Me being able to get into Lucy's head and convince her to vote my way. Alright, well said. Moving on to Harper. He asked, did you feel nervous knowing the other competitors knew your game the best because it was recent? In all honesty, yeah, I was a little nervous, but I wasn't the only one who was nervous. I'm pretty sure Leon had to have been nervous because he also played last season. But I guess it's neither here nor there. I feel like, what did I do to adapt to change that? Well, I feel like what I did this time around is just not play as aggressively. Sure, it didn't really, do well for my gameplay resume, but it did, prevent me from being a target and prevent me from getting targeted. I mean, obviously there were some exceptions where I did, but if Colby wasn't targeted at the last pre-merge tribal council, I easily could have. So I feel like what I did differently is lay a little low for the pre-merge before going off in the merge. Finally, the last question, and that goes to LEGO Game Show Studios, and that is, what's your favorite season you've created and your worst season you've created, in your opinion? My favorite season I've made up to this point is LEGO Survivor Season 10 Tuvalu. This is a close second, though. And I say that because it starts off the trilogy of island game-changing twists. And Tuvalu's Trial is probably my favorite of the bunch. Sure, we don't get a lot of the cast who gets eliminated by that point, but, I mean, what do you want from that thing? There's not really a whole lot to do with it, in that sense, once they get there. And once the challenge starts, you think Tony's probably getting back into the game, only for Molly to come back in the game, which, is kind of important for her being here. Moving on to my least favorite season, I'm honestly going to say LEGO Survivor Season 6 Barbados. And I say this for 3 reasons. Number 1, I was sick during the half of the season. Number 2, because of that, it made me rush through the season, and on top of that, I just kind of wanted to get to All-Stars by that point. And number 3, I didn't particularly like the cast. It was kind of forgettable for the most part. Like, I forgot a good portion of some of their names now. You could make that argument for Papua New Guinea, or heck, even Maldives or Guam. But I think the difference with those seasons compared to Barbados is that I was putting my 100% all into those seasons, even if they didn't look the best. By season 6, I had known what to do, and I still somehow didn't really get a grasp for that season. So yeah, my favorite season is Tuvalu, and my least favorite season is Barbados. Alright, well, that's it. That's all the questions. We revealed the fan favorite. So, that's pretty much it. Well, thank you, LEGO Survivor fans, as well as, subscribers and supporters for this series. Thank you so much for tuning in to this season and watching it to the very end. However, stay tuned, as LEGO Game Show Studios does have an announcement. 15 seasons are finally, officially complete. That's incredible. 15 seasons. We started this all the way back in February of 2021, and here we are 3 years later, over 3 years later, finished with the 15th season. That's just incredible. And as I confirmed in the reunion, I will say this. Yes, there will be a 16th season. Now, what's to expect? Well, you are to expect a few things. Number 1, the cast up to this point is probably my favorite cast look up to this point. They are probably the most distinct bunch I've had up to this point. They look so different compared to some of the other competitors of the series, and I feel like you're probably going to enjoy them. Next, Jeff himself. The reason why he's not doing the outro and it's me doing it is because for next season, he's actually getting a completely different look. Instead of leaving you on a cliffhanger, I'm actually going to show you what he looks like right now. So, with the new design for Jeff revealed, let's move on to what's to expect for next season. It will be 16 players yet again, set in a brand new location. No new twists, simply because we need to have some, calm down after, this season's massive twist. The intro will be out on Tuesday. As for the episodes, I have no clue how often I can get episodes out, because in a few weeks I am starting a new semester of college. So, guess we'll wait and see. Alright, with that said, thank you so much for tuning into this season. And until next time, this has been LEGO Survivor Season 15 Heroes vs. Villains. I'm LEGO Game Show Studios. Good night.